जीवन्मुक्तिप्रदं देवं क्षमापूर्णं
Paramahamsa Nityananda is a rare living incarnation, a yogi by birth. He has been expressing his power of enlightenment since birth. He has authored more than 500 books in Tamil and English, books in Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, Sanskrit, Gujarati, Oriya, Bengali, Marathi, French, Malay, Polish, Portuguese, Italian, German, Danish, Spanish, Russian and Chinese, with translations in 26 languages are available. He is also an exemplary speaker with over 8,000 hours of profound life solutions through his discourses. Social services such as Annadan, free medical care, free educational services, ashrams, schools, temples, hospitals established in more than 140 places around the world offer exceptional services. A powerful spiritual healer who has healed millions of people of diseases from migraine to cancer. A Kriya Yogi who has formulated Kriyas for physical health and mental well-being, benefiting thousands. A living master who offers practical solutions for our everyday problems. Having meditation centers in 151 countries including Bidadi, Tiruvannamalai, Rajapalyam, Salem, Hyderabad, Varanasi, Los Angeles, Ohio, Seattle, San Jose and Phoenix. He is the founder and spiritual head of Nityananda Dhyanapitham, a spiritual guru for 10 million followers, an incarnation who transmits the highest spiritual energy through initiation. A contemporary yogi who has revived the Vedic science of yoga worldwide through thousands of yoga centers. Adept in Ashtamahasiddhis, mystical yogic powers, he has effortlessly awakened the Kundalini of thousands, gracing them with spiritual powers. A spiritual powerhouse who has revived the sacred Vedic tradition by establishing Vedic temples worldwide in places like Los Angeles, San Jose, Seattle, Toronto, Ohio, Oklahoma, Phoenix, St. Louis, Malaysia, Brazil, Paris, Guadeloupe, Dallas, New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Calgary, Vancouver, Singapore, and places like Bangalore, Hyderabad and Tiruvannamalai in India. A dynamic young guru who is an inspiration to thousands of youngsters. India's most watched spiritual guru online. A beacon of spiritual light who has triumphed over the forces of religious terrorism and political persecution. Paramahamsa Nityananda is an eternal Kalpataru, blessing the world with the boons of material abundance and spiritual enlightenment. वन्दे पापविनाशक्तं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतं नित्यमुक्तं निर्विकल्पं ध्यानलोकप्रदीपकं वन्दे शान्तमयं बन्धं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम् आनन्दगन्धसञ्चारं सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तं वन्दे ज्ञानालयं नाथं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम्.
Brian Martis, I'll answer your questions just by altering few words in your questions. Now I am reading out your question. When I hear you speak continuously in your satsangs about taking up responsibility, but when I try to do it, it somehow feels ugly, like doing love. On the other hand, I have experienced the joy of really feeling responsible for something. If a feeling of responsibility does not flower naturally in a certain direction, should I force it? Brian Martis, now I'll give you a few deeper insights just by altering few words in your question. First thing, when you hear me speak continuously in my satsangs about taking up responsibility, and when you try to do it, it somehow feels ugly. Means You are not taking this up as tapas. You have a clear-cut idea how you should feel it naturally, how you cannot create it. Understand, whatever you are feeling now naturally, at some time you created it. Now if you have a natural taste for sugar, you think it came by itself? No. You created that at some one day. Now if you have a natural hatred for a chili, you think it came by itself? No. You created it at one day. All response you are having is created in you at one day. You did not come with it. Understand? All the response you are having is either prarabdha or sanjita. If you like sugar and don't like chili, it is your prarabdha. It is not spontaneous swatma prakasha. Swatma prakasha means self-effulgence. You liking something and not liking something, you flowering in some direction and not flowering in some direction is not your enlightenment, self-realization. It is your prarabdha or sanjita. Understand? Whatever you say as spontaneously happening now is also created by you at one time. Because you forgot how you created that, you are saying it is natural. Please edit the word. Naturally flowering. Anything you have. Understand? I know from where this question is coming. I am answering the source of the question. When you say, when I try to do it, it somehow feels ugly, like doing love. Understand, even your so-called making love, you learnt it by doing. Even your so-called flowing love, you learnt it by doing. Because the responses which you feel as natural has been taken up by you long before. Once upon a time, in your unawareness, you don't feel the load of those responses. Now, I am asking you to take conscious responses, conscious decisions. No, you liking the sugar is not that good for your health. So please drop that response and start a new way of response. You say, no. It is like doing love, forcing. Then when you started the pattern of enjoying the sugar, you think it has happened spontaneously as the expression of your enlightenment? No. That is again the response you picked up long ago, once upon a time. So whatever you are now, whatever you think as natural flowering in you is all nothing but the plastic flower given life. Or plastic flower shaking in the wind, showing as if it is alive. So whatever I am asking you to remove from you is not a flower, plastic flower, remove it. If it is flower, I'll never ask you to remove, I'll just wear it on my head. Because it is plastic flower, I am asking you to remove it. Just different words. I know how with these words, how many consciousness is suffering, how many people are suffering with these wrong words. There is never a thing which will be naturally flowering except enlightenment. So everything else, fake it to make it. It somehow feels ugly, like doing love means you do not want to cut your sanjita. You do not want to destroy your sanjita. You do not want to wake up from your cozy, comfortable Kerala boathouse dream. Boathouse cannot enter into ship. It can only be in the backwater. When the boathouse goes in the backwater, you are in certain cozy, comfortable feeling. You don't want to wake up from it. And how can you sail in the ocean? For ocean, you need to wake up and strengthen yourself. Doesn't want to wake up from the cozy flow of Sanjita. You are not ready to take conscious responsibility. But whatever is unconsciously constantly happened and happening in you, you wanted to call that as a natural flowering. All natural flowering will not be reaction or response. All natural flowering will be responsibility. Response is never a natural flowering. Responsibility is a natural flowering. Anything other than responsibility, if it is happening in you, understand it is not natural flowering. So to destroy that unnatural flowering, you should forcibly take up the responsibility. That is tapas. You are asking the word, should I force it? Drop the word forcing it. I'll say, you should ask me, should I do the tapas? Yes, do this as tapas. I'll rewrite the same question. Listen. Swamiji, I hear you speak continuously in your satsangs about taking responsibility in my own way, but when I never try to do it honestly and try to only show somehow I am trying to do it, I cannot do it. When I completely believe I don't want to do it, but I need to justify to all of you that I am doing it, it somehow feels ugly, like doing love. On the other hand, I have experienced the joy of really feeling responsible, which you never experienced. You only experienced the cozy, comfortable, the Kerala boathouse backyard water ride, which is not responsibility, which is just flowing with your Sanjita karma. If a feeling of responsibility does not flower naturally in certain direction, means make it flower. Boathouse, when it flows into the ship, when it flows into the ocean, naturally feels shaken. Can boathouse say, no, 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 can I go back to the backwater itself? Okay, go. Then you are just going to be dead. Life is expansion. Life is ocean. So, you are asking, when it does not flower naturally in certain direction, means when you do not want it to flower naturally in certain direction, should I force it? You are asking, you should ask the word, should I do this as tapas and make it happen? This is the right way of framing the question. Now you know the answer. When you frame the question in right way, you know the answer. So understand, there is no question of forcing it. There is only question of understanding and tapas. Eva Rosalind is asking, Swamiji, do you ever make mistakes or postpone things? Eva Rosalind, I feel tremendous sympathy towards your hidden ego. I can't get at the real difference between you and us. Are you an entirely different species or just a highly evolved me? Now the big difficulty is, the moment I say I am an entirely different species, you will dump me out of your reach and you will continue to be with your ego. The moment I say no, I am just highly evolved you say then you also make mistakes, we also make mistakes. What is the problem for us transforming? What is the need for you to teach us? What is the need for us to follow you? Eva Rosalind, I can see a huge snake behind your head waiting to bite me the moment I answer, but I am not going to answer. If I answer this side, it will bite my left side. If I answer this side, it will bite my right side. And both the way, poison is going to be for you. See, you are asking, do you ever make mistakes or postpone things? I do make the mistake of tolerating unqualified disciples. I do make the mistake of postponing without kicking them out. She's saying, I can't get at the real difference between you and us. Are you an entirely different species or just a highly evolved me? See the very technical way the question is framed. The moment I say, no, I am just a highly evolved you are going to say, then why should I follow you? Forget about it. You were at some time in my space, now I am also in that space. And one day I am going to be in your space. Why unnecessarily, Hari, you do your job, we will do our job. I don't need to think you are something big. I don't need to think I am something missing. Forget about it. And if I say, no, I am an entirely different species, then anyhow, all right, anyhow, that is not going to happen for me. Then you be and I will be. Ram Sarat Kumar used to do that. He will collect all the garbage from all over the town and keep it near the place where the temple chariot stands. He will keep it near there. Somebody asks, what is this? Why are you collecting and keeping all this? He will tell them, no. One day maybe some Siddha will come and give me a mantra or a herb to make everything into gold. People will laugh at him. What is this? You are mad or what? What kind of hope you are having and collecting all the garbage and keeping? Then Ram Sarat Kumar will ask, why? When you have the hope and keeping all the so many unnecessary things in your life and keeping at one day it will all become useful for you. Your insurance, your gold, your money, your so many things. Life, everything, you collect everything and keep it around you. What do you think? At one day, someday it may become useful for me. But finally that only becomes a snake and scorpion and bites you back. And how? Ram Sarat Kumar used to say beautifully, I am collecting all this and keeping just to tell you how you guys are living with hopeless hope. Same way only. I have one syndrome called hopeless hope syndrome, with which all enlightened masters suffer. That is the only mistake I make. And postponing things. The only mistake I make, only thing I postpone is kicking out the wrong people. Waiting for the transformation. Only these two I make. The funny thing you see, the moment I say, yes, I do make mistakes or I do postpone things, you have then what is the need? Unnecessarily following him. Then maybe one or two of the teachings which he gives for me may also be a mistake. Who knows? Then you can conveniently edit whatever part you want and avoid whatever parts are too harsh for you. You can have your own tailored version of Nityananda philosophy. Are you an entirely different species or just a highly evolved me? There is one more line. I can't get at the real difference between you and us. If you can get, then why will there be difference between you and me? Because you can't get at the difference between you and us, me and you are me and you. The moment you can get at the real difference, there is no you and me. That is the mystery component. That is the mystical part. You need only one thing, not answer for this question. If you are fortunate enough, get it as early as possible and wake up from this cozy, feverish hallucination.